Okay, let's talk about the best way to change an executive's mind, which is to speak fluent revenue, speak their language. Okay, this is what I get so confused about why Sherm misses. I think this has the greatest potential to change your career almost overnight because all of a sudden you and your executives will be speaking at least the same language. You can't argue with someone if one person's speaking French, one person's speaking English. You're yelling at each other. You just know you're mad. You're not hearing each other. You can't even understand what you're disagreeing about. So this is going to help you have much better discussions. And I'm excited for you to have this skill. Because I just have to give you another HR Surgeon General's warning. Executives don't care about your hunch. You have to speak data and revenue to them. This is where people tell me they get their feelings hurt the most is they're like, my executive doesn't take me seriously. And I promise you, I've spoken to just as many executives because I've tried to understand holistically, where are we all going wrong? And they all say the HR leader I've had hasn't understood how to solve business problems. And I'm like, oh, but the people are the ones driving the revenue. So obviously, we need to have a mindset shift between everyone, but it begins with you so you speak the right language. HR problems are business problems. If the people drive the revenue, you're saying the same things, but you're using different words, and we have to fix that. Because employee turnover causes increased hiring costs. That's going to affect profitability. That's what an executive is more likely to hear and catch their attention. Burnout leads to lower productivity, which affects your revenue or the money your company makes. Bad onboarding leads to a delayed time to productivity, which is how soon an employee can make an impact. How soon are they ready to hit the ground running and actually do the things, whether customer facing or not? Everybody's a revenue driver in some way, shape, or form. They all do things that enable the business. Poor onboarding can affect your annual recurring revenue or ARR. It's the same thing, but it's how we're saying it that's causing us to be misunderstood. And at the end of this lesson, you'll start to see how you can go from, going to your executive with qualitative problems like, oh my God, it's so bad out there. Everyone's disengaged. Because they're thinking oh, that's your job. Great. Thanks for telling me you can't do your job. And that is not at all what you're trying to say. You're trying to get them to care and be a partner to you. And the way that you do that is you say things like, I see a link between turnover rates and a decrease in ARR. And based on our latest pulse survey, I think I have a potential solution. You're going to learn how to use the employee hierarchy of needs to really make big impact on, your survey results, to where you're going to be able to verbally spar like this. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I hired you. It's all in just the language and the words that we're choosing. And it's a lot easier than you think once you get the hang of it. So I want to go over 2 basic revenue terms, and there are 19 more linked in the guide that's in the description. You can use it as, you should bookmark it so that you can, if you hear a term, you can go see if it's in there. And if you hear a term that's not in there, send me a message and we will keep this guide up to date over time. But we go over a lot more in the guide, so make sure you check that out. If I were to go through all of these right now, that would be its own course, and maybe we can't do that. But for the sake of this lesson, we're just going to hit on 2 that executives I know care a lot about. The first one is called CAC, or cost to acquire a customer. You're going to learn 2 terms here, okay? So don't be like, oh my God, I got to memorize this right away. I'm just going to run you through this fun example. Each of these is silly so that you remember it. CAC is literally the total sales and marketing costs divided by the number of new customers, AKA, why it matters. High CAC means it's costing too much to get new customers, which reduces your ability to make money and makes your company grow slower. So when you lower CAC, it improves your margins and frees up resources for other investments. So for example, I came from the marketing world. A marketing campaign can be attributed down to a dollar amount, how well it's working, whether people become customers or sign up for a demo, however much money that customer spends for, the lifetime that they're a customer. Executives look at that too, but the dollar amount it takes to even get customers tells you if the marketing and the sales teams are basically doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's very stressful when it costs a lot to get a customer on average, but like either they don't stay very long, or it's not a high quality customer, or it's not your ideal customer. This is a metric executives tend to pay attention to. So they would say something like in an executive team meeting that you will be in, our CAC has spiked to $1,200 per customer. We need to fix this, which means like it feels like we're spending $50 for a candy bar. Okay, we got to stop that. What you would say in this example of like how you would use CAC in a sentence to help solve this problem. Okay, well, let's send a survey to the sales and marketing teams to identify any misalignments or inefficiencies so that we can get to the root cause. It's something on the team that they'll tell you, like, we don't have enough resources, and maybe they have too many campaigns stood up. I'm getting in the weeds here, but maybe the sales team is like, the leads aren't any good and we can't close any of these. So the marketing team is sending us leads or people to talk to who might become customers, but they stink. It's going to help you pinpoint what's the issue. Is it sales or marketing or both? And it's not going to be employees saying, this is why our CAC is high. Employees don't know about or care about CAC, most of them, but they'll tell you how the work is getting done on a day-to-day basis that you can optimize and like tweak to make the company more money. So what you basically said is like, let's ask the sales and marketing teams what's not working so we can figure out how much, what did I put here? Basically like, so we can figure out how to get the right best customers. I think I worded that funny, but you get the point. Okay, that's CAC, cost to acquire a customer. If you've never heard of it, that's okay. That's why this training is being created, because I hated that there was no training on this. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We're only going to do 2, and the rest of them will be in your cheat sheet. Let's talk about ARR, or annual recurring revenue. It's basically the money that your company makes every year from customers who decide to stay and be with the company for like customers with you for a long time. It matters because it's a predictable indicator of like income over time. You don't want ARR going like this because you kind of can't project like where the company's going to be, how it's going to be doing month to month, quarter to quarter. You don't want volatile ARR. Something's wrong with your product market fit, or something's not right with how people are finding your business and your services. So an exec would say something like, we need ARR to grow by 25% because the board said so. Or we'll fall behind on our targets. We need to scale and hire 50 roles to make it happen, which sounds like, yeah, we're going to scale. Most of you I know, though, have been like, oh God, we're going to scale. Things are kind of busted as it is. But what your CEO is saying is like, we need more employees to market and sell and support new customers so that the customers stay and we can bring in more reliable money, or ARR. What you would say to add value to this conversation is, great, yes, and love this for you, love this for us. And I'm going to make investments in our onboarding to get new hires ready fast so that they can keep customers happy and loyal, and basically their time to productivity will be lessened. We can't just hire 50 people because we want to do inefficient things more inefficiently. That's a recipe for scaling and spinning out of control. What you're basically telling them is, let's just make sure our new people are ready so that they can like do exactly what you're describing and that we do this right. We just don't add 50 more people to this chaos and anarchy. So those were 2 terms. Again, there's a lot more in the cheat sheet. Check that out. I think I've said that 100 times. But I'll leave you with this. You really want to build relationships with your executives, because what's in my cheat sheet isn't exactly verbatim what they may care about. You should be asking your CHRO or your CEO, whoever you report to, hey, what metrics are you focused on this quarter? So that you can understand not only what key metrics they care about and what they sound like, but how are they calculated? And find out more about like, help me understand, like, teach me what this means about the business. Like, you should have any good leader who has any sense would understand that you're trying to help them. So if anyone's being combative with you, if anyone gets defensive and they're like, well, why do you care? Why are you asking me this? You're not challenging them. You want to make that very, very clear. You want to tell them, oh, I'm here to partner with you and help you achieve these goals, because I'm overseeing the actual revenue drivers and employee engagement and, one and the same. I'll speak my language for a second, which is people, and then I'll speak your language for a second, which is revenue and growth. As long as you throw the word revenue in there, they'll feel better. But if they still block you and they're like, yeah, no, I'm not letting you into this. If you have an executive who doesn't want to partner with you and teach you what matters in the business, how it affects the business, get out. You can't make an impact with someone who's going to hold their spreadsheets close to their chest like it's a game of poker. That's not how people first companies operate. And you're going to be making yourself crazy if you don't have like all the pieces of the puzzle that you're all trying to do together. It's like everyone's got their pile of puzzle pieces and you're like, can't we all just work on it together? Because one piece might go over there. One piece might, what are we doing? Well, I want to work on my puzzle. Just don't touch my puzzle pieces. It's like, we're all working on the same puzzle. We may go about it a different way, but we're here to help each other go faster and finish this puzzle. This puzzle will never get finished if we're all doing our own piles of the same puzzle. What are you talking about? If a CEO blocks you or doesn't want to let you in, it's not about you, it's about them. That's a whole other conversation. I'll just put a pin in that because I almost monologued at you. But you should be on the lookout for an executive who gets that you're there to help them go faster. And it takes a village to drive engagement. And you need to know the crucial words being thrown around and what they mean so that you can add value to the conversation, not to block anything, but to make sure that the best right decisions are made so that there's long-term scalable growth and a future for your company. And I know this dynamic exists. I'm going to put a placeholder for now in the notes below. I'm going to do an episode with Christie Williams on how she's made such a great relationship with her CEO, Adam. So if it's in the future, just check. It's probably there. But like I have seen great HR leaders like Christie Williams really get this right. And trust is built not overnight, but it is possible to have an executive who gets what you're there for and gets the value of you disagreeing with them, helping them come to the best right decisions, because I've seen it play out for real people who are in this community. So send Christie Williams a message. The biggest takeaway for you, though, in this lesson is you must speak the language of revenue for your executives to hear you. Otherwise, you're falling on deaf ears. The question I want to ask you is, what revenue terms do you hear thrown around at your organization that maybe you're like, okay, it's time for me to know what these are? Trust me, every organization has their own little word soup of some terms that they even made up. So do not think that my list is comprehensive. It's like the basics. And again, I'll add to it over time, but like your organization may have acronyms for things that they made up, but you still need to know what they are because you are the main stakeholder. And those acronyms being in the positives and showing signs of improvement and growth because you are on the hook for the people who impact it, which is the employees. So you are the biggest revenue lever at your company. I've told you this. It's time for you to believe it. Learn this new language. It's going to be clunky and awkward at first, but I know you can do this and you're not going to believe what it's going to do for your career and your power of influence once you tap into it. Okay, I will see you in the next lesson.